Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam. Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. In the Vedas, we find very many hymns in praise of God in different forms, and they are called as suktas, like Purusha Suktam, Rudra Suktam, Narayana Suktam, Shri Suktam, Durga Suktam, Medha Suktam, like that. We are going to see one very beautiful Suktam. It's called Shiva Sankalpa Suktam. Now, when we hear the word Shiva Sankalpa Suktam, we may feel that it is in praise of Lord Shiva, but it is not so. It is not in praise of any god like that, but it is a prayer. This Suktam, this hymn is in the form of a prayer, prarthana. Prarthana, naturally, it is to God only, but what is the prayer? The prayer is for purifying our mind. More than purifying, divinizing our mind. That is what is important thing. All of us have the physical body, the pranas, the senses. All these upadhis are there. What really distinguishes one person from the other person is the composition of the mind of that person. There is a difference. The mind. And what kind of mind one has, that will only determine the entire life pattern of that person. In the language of the Shastra, the gunas, they sattva gun, rajo gun, tamo gun. Sattvic is something very noble. Rajasic is little mixed with all desire, etc. And tamas, tamoguni, sometimes ignorant or other kind of qualities. I was thinking of what nomenclature can be given. It can be general only because it is a combination of so many things. So one mind is a contemplative mind. Other is a calculating mind. And third is manipulating mind. So contemplative, calculative, and manipulative. So a person's mind is contemplative, then that person's faith, thoughts, they are very deep in nature. And therefore person's actions, responses to all that what happens, it will not be impulsive. It will not be impulsive, but very matured response and behavior. Calculative means what I mean, all the time calculation. I have invested this much money, so I must get this much profit. I have done work for such a long time, therefore I must get this thing. Okay? Even when that person does even japa also, Bhagavan Nama japa, there also is calculation that if I have done so much of japa, this kind of result should come. Whatever that life is, all the time calculating. And what will be my benefit? Other always benefit in terms of material gain. This is called calculating mind all the time. Ganana. So this is called Rajoguni mind. Earlier that's called Sattvaguni mind, contemplate. And third is manipulative, Babare. That mind, we never know how it works. Like a gati, like of this sarpa, snake. You just go on, we don't know what saying one thing, but thinking may be different. That type of mind. So very difficult to then understand it. So, in general only this is kind of what I said. So what we find, even though physical body and all that, what are there, everybody has, what the mind, that mind is. Now when we go for shopping, any simple thing also we want to buy, we want to see what is the quality of that. Quality. Even a clay pot also, we say tongue. So we'll see how it is. The cloth also, what is the texture and all that. Anything that we buy, we want to see the quality. And all manufacturing companies, they also have got a department, quality control department. So there are officers are there. Their job is that before the product goes into the market, it should be checked. And then only it should go. We see that sometimes even the car models also that have gone to the marketplace, and then afterwards they discover that there is some defect. All of them are called back. Some medicines, when there are some adverse effect is shown, they are withdrawn from that, from the market and all that. Right? So, even you want to drink water, there also you want to find out what water, is it proper, good or not. So, point is, all about our material things, we are so very particular about the quality of that. And then if you have paid more money, we are more demanding also. So we are so much about that. But what is the quality of our mind? We are particular, knowing about the quality of everything. Even when a company or anyone hires a person, they want to know that where they are employing the right person. A question should come to our mind that I am so particular about everything. But have I ever thought what is the quality of my mind? Now you see, in present time, what has happened is this. Why I should say present time? But it generally happens like that. We human beings have got these three equipment. One called body, other called mind, and third is called intellect. And we are very particular about our body. Its look, number one. health also very much. So if something is wrong somewhere, immediately we try to know why I am feeling like that. What is the cause of that? So as far that awareness of physical body's look, health, we pay attention. The other side is we are developing our intellect also. All parents want their children to be very smart. Huh? Smartness. If you go to that YouTube and all that, little children, they do little, they are there. All the parents want to know what a great accomplishment is that. Very good. So intellect also is developed. There are so many university degrees and this and that and that. But what we find in between the body and the intellect, the emotional maturity which should be there, uh, very much missing. Their IQ is great. You know, IQ, all intellectual quotient and all that is very great. But emotional, we find emotionally, they call it emotional quotient, but very low. They may be very learned, men of great accomplishments also. But emotionally, they are so weak. Little change in their setup, they become upset. And some people go into depression. I'm in contact with some psychiatrists and also those counselors. And also they are also telling this because of COVID, because of quarantine, because of remaining in house, they just don't know what to do. Panicking, depressing. Because we never think that the external situations can change. If things are going well, we think all the time it will just go on like that only. And very different, we don't know what to do. Other learn it. Young people, generally youth, is associated with great energy, dynamism, enthusiasm, and all that. But you find the youth only getting depressed. What does it show? It shows our mind, our emotional maturity, or all that is too weak. Another problem. See, physically, if someone is unwell, that person admits that there is something wrong with me and I must consult a doctor. Many times, when some people are going through mental kind of difficulty, sometimes they are not aware, sometimes they don't admit it. That's another problem. And they suffer. And then somebody tells, I think you should consult someone, you only need that consultation, they will say. So this mind is a very peculiar thing. And it is seen that when some kind of thought, feeling, desire takes hold of that mind, then that person thinks that alone is the world, that alone is the reality, that alone is the most important thing, and nothing else. even if someone tries to tell, but nothing, because that thought is fixed so deeply, I cannot get rid of it. And at that time, think that alone is right. Including anger. He thinks that anger is the only reality, and then there is nothing wrong if I get angry or anything like that. Like that, it is a mind. And everywhere you will see that, where it is a small house of 2-3 persons only, or a community, anywhere you go that, because all these individuals are there, and then suppose some person is very strong, powerful in mind. He can manipulate all people's minds also. Do you know that? Nowadays it's called as social media also. Huh? And influence other people's minds. Because their minds are not that strong, they cannot discriminate and think properly. And one upsurge is there, total suddenly. And who started it? And they say, this has gone viral, this has gone viral, viral, viral. And it is spreading, spreading. And then some person spreads some kind of thought. And when so many people start feeling in the same way, then the whole atmosphere changes. It can be revolutionary, devolutionary, destructive also. It can be something creative also, possible. Then one is called the individual mind, then a collective mind. And that collective mind, under that influence, how it will work then is again different matter. But it's all a power of mind only. So some mind can be a very inspiring one, can be very motivating also, or inciting all kinds of troubles, that also. And now that is becoming easier and easier because of this, all the internet and so many kinds of things are there. No only emails, They're called Twitter also there, and Facebook also there, and Instagram also there. Earlier we knew only Telegram, but now Instagram also there. And then new things keep coming there. And it spreads. And where are we going? Which direction? And when some majority start talking, we also start talking the same thing. Now another aspect. We have been saying that parents have been telling that children never listen to us. That's one complaint. And it is not new. From Anadi Kal it is there. That children do not listen. I had read one statement which the parents may not like also, that children have never been good at listening to parents, but they never fail to imitate them. So, then it's a big blow to these parents also. But one thing is, children don't listen to us. Somebody said, nowadays children have got lot of their willpower. The one mother said they have a lot of want power also. You ask them to do, I want. They got want power also, they have got enough. They don't want to do it. Now stop. All right, children don't listen. Youth, they listen. Therefore, the definition of teenager is given. The teenager is one who stops asking from where he came, but refuses to tell you where he is going. Do they listen? No. Are these youth also peculiar? At home, they will revolt against parents and they'll fall prey to peer pressure. Yeah? They think that they are very original and independent and all that. Are they? Do they have courage to say no to their peers? So youth don't listen. Adult, how can they listen? There we know. About adulthood also they are saying, by the time the father thinks, maybe his father was right, but he already has a son who thinks he is wrong. Let us come to old people. Are Baba, impossible. ये बाल कोई धूप में थोड़ी सफेद की है. These hair not grown grey or white just like that. It's all experience. Old age. Of course, there are sorrows of old age. One sorrow of old age is he knows the answer to all questions, but nobody asks any question. He wants to share the wisdom and learning of his life. The youth says, we will gather our own knowledge. If you tell them, they also don't listen. Question is, after all, we listen to whom? We follow whom? It is a very serious question. Whom do you really listen? Whom do you really follow? And you will get the answer. Every person finally listens to his or her own mind only. Whatever that mind says. Now, somebody say, no, I listen to my teacher, my guru. Acha, what guru says I do. Do you know why? Because your mind accepted. Accepted that person as guru, accepted that I should do what that guru says, otherwise you go on doing it. And one day your mind changes. It has happened. I say, I follow the Shastras. Shastra? How long? If it appeals to my mind, if what is said in the Shastra, which is against my all perception and all that, I don't accept it. Whom are we listening? Think. Now the point is, if we listen to our mind, follow our mind, but we are neglecting it, paying attention to body, paying attention to intellect, but in mind we are not. But if we are following the mind, so we must see that our quality of our mind must be such that it is able to determine what life is, what situation is, and what should be my thinking. When we read Ramayana and such, they actually show that only. Particularly Bharata's mind. How did Rama decide his course of action? Because the mind was clear. How did Bharata decide his course of action? When you know the story of Ramayana, mind was clear. Shuddha mind. So, we should understand that if our whole course of life depends upon the quality of our thoughts, what kind of sankalpa we entertain, what kind of our feelings are there. If you pay attention to that, then our aim must be that our mind should be very clean. Then we don't have to go on asking anybody else again and again, what shall I do, what shall I do? No need. In Ramayana, we find a beautiful thing that Brother Bharata's mind was so pure that once he asked Vasishtha Guru that he wants to do something, does he have his blessing? The Guru says, now you don't have to ask anybody. Your mind, what you say, that is the right thing. The Guru certifies. And Guru like Vasishtha ji. So in this Shiva Sankalpa Suktam, the whole idea and the theme is that may my mind be filled with auspicious thoughts, noble thoughts. That's called Shiva Sankalpa. Shiva Sankalpa means auspicious, noble, good. Because if my mind becomes filled with Shubha thought, or my life will be different. So man is what his mind is. And mind is what thoughts are there. Therefore, this prayer of Shiva Sankalpa Suktam is most beautiful, precious it is. It's called divinizing the mind. It is found in not only Yajurveda, Adhurveda also, other Veda, but the Yajurveda, which is found 6 mantras, are very popular. Only 6 mantras, and we can memorize them also easily. So now, tomorrow we'll begin the Sukta. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
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 Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah 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 Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
उमापति महादेव की
जय।
जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
Jai.
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण
हजारों सालों से चली आ रही आपकी और मेरी कहानी। रंगमंच वही, सवाल वही, किरदार वही। उपनिषद गंगा 30 जून से गुरुवार से रविवार रात 9 बजे चिन्मय चैनल YouTube पर।